With a population of almost 22 million people, Mexico City is now the 5th largest city in the world. And with numbers like that, travel could seem a bit daunting. But at the same time, 22 million people means 22 million opportunities for the perfect bite. So join us on this 3-part series documenting some of the incredible places we got to eat at during our visit to Mexico City. From street-side tacos to high-end posh restaurants and even a trip to the 6th best bar in the world. Let's waste no more time and jump into the cultural capital that is Mexico City. See, street food is made with love, and I won't sit here and tell you that it makes a physical change in the meal, but they say we eat with our eyes first. Well, in Mexico, we eat with our hearts. And that's exactly what happened at El Puerto De Angel, this little spot in El Mercado de San Juan where a quick taco rapidly turned into a dozen. Because this place is what I call heaven on earth. This small little hideaway truly, and I mean truly, gave me one of the best tacos I've had in my entire life. We originally stopped in for one quick taco before our exploration of the market began and ordered the Gober taco. Their local take on the tacos gobernador, which includes shrimp, melted cheese, and peppers, doused in a delicious homemade salsa. I'm actually a big fan of tacos gobernador, but their take was so flavorful, I had to go up and thank the chefs. Amongst our conversation, she replied, "If you think that's good, try the pulpo a la macha." Now, I don't know if I was just feeling the mezcal or if she was a great saleswoman, but the group decided to take a moment, order some Coronas, and see what else they had to offer. We ended up getting the pulpo, which is octopus, as well as the fried tuna and the presente taco, which is a mix of marlin and shrimp. It was all really good, but the pulpo changed my life.
Try that taco. It's octopus. Woo! These are so good. Wow.
And I mean, that was it. Like, I really can't further describe the explosion of flavor that taco had. Topped with a little habanero salsa, the texture was unctuous and rich, cheesy, and somehow the pepper still had a slight crisp crunch. I mean, it was pure happiness. We all just stood there eating and drinking, not even saying a word, just enjoying the moment and enjoying the art we were currently consuming.
This might be one of the best tacos I've ever had. It's so
top
good.
3 for me for sure.
Top
three
three
for sure.
Top 3.
Well, let me fill you in on how we found this place to begin with. Because fresh off of our trip to Sayulita, and if you haven't seen that video, check it out above, the squad was hungry for some bugs. Our experience with mezcal had left our search for their worms in vain, but that didn't stop us.
Try to get a worm. We're gonna find a worm in Mexico City.
So our first stop was El Mercado de San Juan. Known locally as the exotic meat market, definitely a bit touristy in the afternoon, this market was really meant for restaurateurs throughout the city to buy their exotic proteins that they needed to fill their menus. But the group was on a mission. We weren't here to eat tigers, we were here to eat worms, scorpions, and ants and drink a lot of mezcal. And we found it all at Las Tapas de San Juan. For like 20 pesos, you got to pick 3 different bugs along with a shot. So we channeled our inner Timon and Pumbas and went in head first.
Alright, let's see some of these, the grub action.
I'm gonna go for the big boy. Cheers. Big boy.
Honestly, not bad at all.
Let me try one of those.
Yeah, go for it.
The crickets were pretty good. That's how I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah.
Do we want to have a big scorpion?
I'm in.
Now, separately, they had these big scorpions that looked too tasty to pass up. And I'll be the first to admit it, they were kind of good. They're similar to potato chips, honestly. Extremely crunchy, but you really just taste the seasoning.
It's got a little lime in it. Very smoky flavor. Very good.
But I get it. You might not necessarily be into the bugs, and that's cool. So let me show you a spot everybody ought to try. Tacos El Turix. During our 4-day trip, we were all huddled into our Airbnb in the neighborhood of Polanco, one of Mexico City's poshest neighborhoods. We were surprised to find a fire little taco stand just down the street from the Patek Philippe store. Tacos El Turix was honestly a staple for the squad. No matter the time of day, no matter if you were hungry, tired, drunk, or sober, a good taco at El Turix always hit the spot. Now, you won't find an array of options here though. They specialize in one thing and one thing only, cochinita pibil. Known as the jewel of the Yucatan Peninsula, cochinita pibil is a slow-roasted pork traditionally marinated in citric juices like orange and lemon juice and then cooked underground while wrapped in banana leaves. Now at Tacos El Turix you could snag tacos of cochinita pibil for 20 pesos each. But honestly, my favorite were the panuchos, refried tortillas with black beans on top and packed with cochinita, onions, and topped with fresh salsa. They're like savory little tostadas that provide ample crunch, sweetness, and spice.
Super soft, flavorful, greasy, very greasy. But you get a wonderful crunch throughout all the layers. Top tier.
Polanco is one of the most attractive places you'll visit due to its safety, shopping, and incredible high-end restaurants, which we'll discuss in a further video. But next time you're in Polanco, go out of your way to give El Turix a try. It's seriously top tier. Another neighborhood you'll probably want to visit is Roma Norte. This is the center of Mexico City's culinary and artistic movements. You'll find bicycling hipsters, young professionals, and a generally safe space for everyone. Normally home to some higher-end restaurants, Roma Norte isn't completely devoid of street food danks. And while waiting for our reservation at a seafood restaurant called La Docena, we happened to cross the street to Taquitos Frontera. And after the first bite, we seriously debated scrapping our reservation plans. What we got was simple: volcanes de bistec. Now, a volcan is a fried tortilla topped, and I mean generously topped, with cheese and carne asada. Honestly, one of my favorite things about Mexican cuisine is its simplicity, because that's all this is: steak, cheese, tortillas, and some tasty hot salsa. And that's all you need to create an explosion of flavors. Simple, but I can legit taste it as I speak. And that really is the Mexican spirit: taking a moment to enjoy a flavorful treat, sip a beer, and enjoy the good company around you.
I'm so happy right now.
And for our group, a night in Roma Norte was filled with great conversations, sights to see, and many, many drinks to be drunk. So after creating some reservations at Licoria Limantur and Hanky Panky, some of the best bars in the world, we had to take a quick stop for a bite to eat to keep the night going. And that is what leads us to our next place on this tour, Taqueria El Califa, a local chain restaurant specializing in a variety of tacos, but we ended up getting a few tacos al pastor. And while I won't sit here and tell you that they're the greatest single tacos I've had, this place is definitely worth a visit. It's much better than a lot of the tacos I've had here in the States, and the pastor was perfectly spicy with a sweet tinge of pineapple, and for me, it really all comes down to the salsas. With over 5 different salsas to choose from, all with different spice levels, there is something for every adventurer out there. But to keep the night going, after a stop at Hanky Panky, some salsa dancing, and a full bottle of Patron, the boys were still hungry. And I don't know about you, but a nightcap taco always hits different. And what better place than a random stand in Roma that was still open late at night called Super Taco. Now, we've gone over cochinita pibil, al pastor, but to wrap up the traditional taco tour of Mexico City, we had to get suadero and longaniza. Longaniza is a Mexican sausage similar to chorizo with Portuguese origins, but suadero is honestly one of my favorite nightcap tacos of all. A thin cut of pork belly or leg that has a smooth but rich texture due to its being confitted or fried in pork grease all night long. My God, these were good. I mean, they'll bring you back to life just long enough for you to make it to the Uber ride home.
Yes.
Now, last on our trip were some awesome food stands we found on the shores of Xochimilco, the world-famous river trip that takes you up and down on colorful boats filled with food vendors, drinks, and live music. Most boats allow you the chance to buy and bring some of your own food on board, so our group stopped by these little Carnitas stands to watch some of the native shows and to stock up on some food for the trip. And what an experience. I mean, I don't know why these people were fighting. I mean, literally fighting for your business. Like, they were yelling at us and everyone was like a little intimidated, but it was so cool because they were all just so generous. Free samples, taco deals, and a little taste of everything. I mean, it was a blast. We got to literally have our pick, but we ended up finding the perfect spot, and it was called Carnitas Estilo Michoacán. They have the meat laid out for you so you can easily pick it up. They chop it up and hand it out right in front of you. And that's like one of my favorite parts. To see the food prepared, chopped, and served just brings you closer to each bite. A couple tacos along with a fresh michelada, it really brought a delightful end to one of the most incredible culinary trips I have ever experienced. But wait, that's not all. We haven't even gotten to the prettiest part, the coolest part. We need to talk about the dozens of high quality, Michelin star, world-class restaurants Mexico City has to offer. So what do you say? You in? With parents' permission, please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel and check out all the wonderful recipes laid out on saucestuff.com. Bye!